until about 18 months ago, I was working on big multi-million pound Hollywood blockbuster TV series, and frankly, it fried my brain. So I quit my job, sold all my cameras, decided that I would never make a film again. But of course, after a year, I got the itch again. But I really wanted it to be very much like it was when I first picked up a camera as a student. Always had a camera in my hand. So I set myself some rules that would make it very immediate, very easy to do, very easy to edit. I could only film for 20 minutes, 20 minutes worth of film, a bit like having 4 Super 8 rolls back in the day. I would ask everybody the exact same 5 questions. I would film it on my phone, and I would cycle where possible, and if not, get public transport. Why am I filming this? No idea. It's obviously good to practice, so I asked my mate Chris if I could film him playing the bass in his 1-bedroom apartment. Also turns out Chris and I are both quite clumsy, not so good in a wee room, but at least the one small bag rule helped. A light, a couple of mics, a phone, we squeezed in just. So, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you want to stand, sit?
Yes.
It was a bit of a farce. There would be nice in the background.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Sorry about the shite bass playing. It's been 25 years since I played the bass properly.
The whole point of it was get people to talk about something they do every day.
And by the way, there's a cop station round the corner where they keep all the police action vehicles. It doesn't look like a police station, but every now and then, you know what I mean?
Tell me a little bit about what you're doing, Chris, here.
What I'm doing, yeah, I used to be a double bass player, and I still want to be a double bass player, but I'm lazy and I'm not in a band, and so I bought this piece of very, very cheap, half-size Chinese thing just to have a kick about, just to practice. And I got the wrong size, and I bought it and just don't practice. I just sit there and look at it and go, I should get a bigger one, really.
How do you motivate yourself every day to get up and practice?
I don't practice. I just sit there and go, God, I used to do that a long time ago, you know what I mean? Do you know what? The thing about being a bass player, and I think that's why I chose the bass, is because I didn't have the patience to be a guitarist, you know, or play the piano or the saxophone and practice on my own. But with the bass, you got 10 fingers, 4 strings, it's easy. It is easy. I don't care what people say, it's a fucking easy instrument. It's one of the easiest. And so I picked it for that because I wanted to be in a band. I wanted to generate music more than be a virtuoso musician completely. So it was all about rock and roll. So I've got the bass, and it was also to do with Walking the Wild Side. I was obsessed with that song when I was about 7 years old. I'm the youngest of 9. And my brothers and sisters had great taste in music. I was very lucky, so there was lots of David Bowie and Lou Reed and Van Morrison and Beatles. I was obsessed with Lou Reed, absolutely obsessed with that album Transformers. The lyrics were, as a kid, I used to play. As soon as I was old enough to put the record on, I just put Walking the Wild Side on again and again and again, and I loved it. I used to say that to my teachers, you know what I mean? Hey, Mrs. Clarkson, take a walk on the wild side, or tell my auntie this, take a walk in the wild. I didn't know what the fuck it was all about. I mean, if you think about it, you've got a 7-year-old boy whose hero is fucking Lou Reed of the Velvet Underground, and this song's about a bunch of drug addict trannies that are, you know, prostituting in New York. I didn't understand a word of it, but it was my favourite thing in the world. And many years later, I became a double bass player because of that song. So that's why I did it. And do you know what? You know what the thing with that is? Walking the Wild Side is just 2 chords, C and G. Doom, doom, doom. It's easy peasy peasy, but it's impossible to play because here's the bit. It's actually 3 basses. It's 3 layers of bass. There's one slide up, there's an overdub and a slide down, and then there's a third overdub. So it's a very clever bit of bass playing.
Very good. Just shut the door. Quick mug of tea. So my next question, Chris. What have I broken now?
Nothing, it's already, everything here's broken. Everything in this flat is broken. Including me.
No, you're not broken.
Fucking right, I'm broken, yeah.
What's the best experience you ever had playing the double bass?
Best experience? Oh God, I don't know. I really don't know. I think the best. I've been in a couple of good bands, and it would have been somewhere along there. I think the best experience.
It was at this point I was aware that I'd been pressing record and stop so often, I wasn't sure I'd recorded Chris's last answer, so we went over it again, and I forgot to start the microphone recorder, so I only got the rubbish camera audio. What's the best experience you had playing the double bass?
I played the double bass. Difficult to say. I think playing the bass, the best experience I had was when I was 13. I wanted to be in a band, like I said, and I used to go and see all these bands like the Clash or what have you. And that's what I wanted to be when I was 13. I wanted to be on that stage in a room full of heads bouncing up and down to pounding rock and roll music. And I guess my best moment was when I was 23 and that happened. That actually happened to me. Could I go on stage with a roadie giving me a bass guitar that's in tune, and there's a fucking sea of heads bouncing up and down, and I walk off, give him the roadie and don't have to do anything and go off drinking. I mean, that was the best. That was my best night in music. Just that first gig in front of a full room. It's very exciting.
And what's the worst
It's been
experience?
downhill ever since.
So what's the worst experience you've had?
Today was the worst experience I've had playing the double bass, because I don't know where the fucking notes are. My hands are like putty. I haven't played properly in years, and I kind of think it's one of those things. It's not like riding a bike, playing an instrument. It's not like riding a bike unless you're shit hot. You know, it just isn't. You know what I mean? So I need to get practicing again. So yeah, I think that was my worst experience just 10 minutes ago, if I'm honest.
And finally, what do you think the profound life lesson you've learnt from playing the double bass is?
Profound.
Or life lesson, you know. What have you learned?
It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult to keep your head above water as a musician and keep sane and keep motivated. As you said, motivation is very important. I'm struggling to answer that at this exact moment in time. I had a lot of good times. I had a lot of terrible times. But musicians don't do it really for the money. They do it because they love music. I did it because I was obsessed with a Lou Reed song when I was 7, and that's the truth.
On the day, Chris and I both thought we could have done a lot better. But looking back, I see that the original premise was working well. It doesn't matter if they're rich or poor, famous or unknown. People are surprising and always interesting.
It is a nice place to live, I suppose. Not as nice as Chelsea and Kensington, but it is cheaper.
Thanks, folks. Please hit the like button if you liked what you heard, and even better, hit the subscribe button. That would be down about there, I should imagine. All right, thanks.